Good morning, and we are live. Last night, folks, I had a conversation with my adult daughter that lives across the country from me. She just needed to hear from dad that everything was going to be okay. She has been stressed. I'd like to tell you that she follows my shows and things like that, but she's busy. She is busy. She drops in every once in a while. So it's not a matter of, she's listening to me and getting scared. She's looking around at what's going on around her and getting very scared. And she just needed to hear from me last night that everything was going to be okay, that we were going to make it. Because not just her friends, her social circle, they're stressing. They're really worried. So I thought today we would make that the theme of the show. Yeah, I'm not going to bullshit you. Bad shit's going to happen. It is. These are terrible people that are running our country. But we're going to be okay. We're going to survive this. We're going to make it. And we're going to be okay. And I brought receipts. So let's dig into it. Yeah, mine. Me and Mrs. Texas Paul, we've got 5 kids between us. We do. And my adult daughter, she is so much like Mrs. Texas Paul. It is amazing. It is amazing. Her significant other, brother, if you see this, just trust me. Hang in there, grab tight on them reins. It's a rough ride sometimes, brother, but it is so worth it. It is so worth it. You're going to be like me. You're going to be an old man sitting there thinking, God, I am so glad I met this woman. I am so glad I met this. She talks to me about her, what's going on with her and I just like flashbacks. Oh, I can remember when I heard that. Oh, so it was a good conversation. It was a good conversation. But it really got me in the heart. It really did. You don't want to hear your kids scared. You just don't. And man, it hit me. It really did. And I got to tell you, we're going to be okay. We are. I'm nervous about things. Everybody's nervous about things. But I just want to go through some things that are happening, big things that are happening. And no, they're not all pleasant, but they all point the same damn direction. We are going to come out on the other side of this, and we're going to be okay. We're going to have a lot to fix. We're going to have a lot to do. We're going to have a lot to repair, a lot to restore, a lot of relationships to mend in the world. We're probably going to go through we are going to go through some tough economic times here pretty quickly. The wheels are starting to come off. But yeah, on the other side of this, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. I promise you. Just one thing after another keeps happening that just proves it. Look, just this is not our main story. It's just something that's going on. Again, the theme is, yeah, they're terrible people and they're going to do terrible things, but we're going to endure it and we're going to win. We are. It's things like this. Judge says Pentagon trampled on Senator Mark Kelly's rights, blocked effort to demote him over illegal orders and video. So yeah, we all saw the video where they just said basically the most logical thing, in this situation, just to reassure people. And they're telling people, look, if you're in the military, don't follow illegal orders. There's no protection for you. Don't do it. Don't follow illegal orders. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. We saw the reaction to it from the Trump regime. They want fealty. They don't want decency and what our military has been traditionally. They don't want that. They want a bended knee. They want people doing whatever the hell they're ordered to do, no matter how awful it is. Illegal orders, just follow them. That's what they want. That's what they want. This drove them insane. You had several people with great, Mark Kelly's an astronaut. He's a pilot. He's got his resume is outstanding as far as having someone stand up and say, yeah, look at me. I've served an entire career, and that's it. It's okay. Don't follow illegal orders. You wouldn't want anybody better than the people that, Lee Slotkin, you had several people that just served our country in various ways that stood up and said, look, don't do it. You're not going to be protected. The Trump regime lost their damn minds. But in the end, Mark Kelly wins. Mark Kelly wins. Did he have to go through bullshit? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. They even tried to indict them and failed. Jeanine Pirro in D.C. tried to indict them. And, you can indict a ham sandwich. I mean, it is easy to get an indictment. If you get a no bill from a grand jury, you are in, I can't stress to you. We've got lawyers in the audience. They can expand on that to you. You got to work to get a no bill, man. You got to really have a shit case for a grand jury to tell you, okay, no, you can't charge this. And that's exactly what happened. So yeah, they're going to do terrible shit. They are. These are immoral people. These are people with no respect to the law or for the law, no respect for the Constitution. They're going to do shitty things, but we are going to come out on the other side. Okay. We really are, because we are who we are as a people. We are who we are as a country. The institutions, some have been staggered, but they're holding. They are. Mr. Will, hey, Paul, here with you as always. Glad to see you, brother. Glad to see you. Glad to see the new Craig. Glad to see the new members. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing it. Christopher Daly, big shout out to the Texas Buddhists who marched to Fort Worth to Annapolis. Glad they didn't stop in Washington, D.C. Yeah, that was something, man. That was something. It's amazing. That's how hungry we are for decency. How big that peace march was. Those monks marching across the country was absolutely huge. That is the thirst for decency. That's what I'm talking about today. That's what we're headed towards. Greg Phillips, hey Texas Paul, just a little donation to the Custom Pond Church of Science and Humanity. If ever in Kentucky, bourbon is on me. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. I can't do the show without you, man. Can't afford to do it without you. But look, this is what we're up against. And no, I'm not going to play a lot of Trump in just a short video, but this is the kind of thing that we're up against. So again, I just want you to take heart from this. I do. This is Trump talking about the SAVE Act.
And you have confirmation U.S. citizenship. That's about a 99% one with Republicans, about 86% with Democrats, except Democrat politicians because they cheat on elections. And then you have no mail-in ballots. And it would be no mail-in ballots, very important. We're the only country in the world that does a system like we do. We're the only country in the world that has mail-in ballots The way we do this is unbelievable. It guarantees cheating. So it's no, and you have confirmation U.S.
First of all, every video he does, he's slurring in now. Every video he's slurring in. I mean, it's just, I don't care how much makeup they put on him. I don't care how much Adderall they juice him up with. Every video is showing physical deficiencies. He is literally just falling apart and has pudding for brains. Travis Akers posted this over on X, which it was shared over. I'm not on X, but it was immediately shared all over social media, just to give you an idea how people are responding to this. Nobody's put on their heels about this. Everybody goes on offense the minute he says something stupid. A list of countries that currently have mail-in voting: Argentina, Australia, Austria, Belgium, Brazil, Canada, Chile, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Iceland, Ireland, Israel, Italy, Japan, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malaysia, Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Pakistan, Poland, Portugal, Singapore, Slovakia, Slovenia, South Korea, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, United Kingdom, United States, and Zimbabwe, just to name a few. But yeah, Pudding Brains is standing in front of a camera saying nobody has mail-in voting. And people aren't falling for it anymore. The shtick is tired. And it's tired because of just things like this. Things like this. Before we get into the really ugly stuff today, it's things like this. We talked about the jobs report in January. And ADP said we added 22,000. This is who investment firms listens to. This is who corporations listen to when they're doing their planning. They don't listen to the government job numbers. Nobody trusts them anymore. Nobody trusts them. I said that, and sure as shit, I said they're going to come out with some crazy ass numbers in January, and sure as shit, they did. They did. This is what the Trump regime is trying to tell you happened with jobs in January. And it was so out of line with what everybody knows is happening. The Dow immediately plunged. All the markets went into shock because it's just became so painfully obvious they're lying about the numbers. And at the exact same time, they released this bullshit that nobody believed. Nobody believed. And believe me, if they believe those job numbers, okay, the market would have spiked, and the opposite would have happened with the bond market. Remember, bonds are where everybody goes when they're unsure about the economy. Bonds are guaranteed income. Anytime there's uncertainty in the economy, that people go to bonds, people go to gold, people go to, things that won't diminish over time, won't diminish when the market tanks, things like that. So if those job numbers are real, interest rates on bonds would be skyrocketing, because we've talked about this in the show before. If the government has to sell bonds, it has to sell bonds. People talk about, they're printing money. Those are the bonds. Those are the bonds. They have to sell bonds just to cover their financial obligations. They have to. So if the market's doing amazing and the economy's doing amazing, people don't want to buy those bonds. They have to make them more attractive because they don't pay as well as other investments. So they have to make them more attractive, and they have to raise those yields. They got to crank up those bond yields so people will buy them. That's what happens when things are looking good. But no, this is what's going on. People took a look at those bullshit numbers, and bond yields tanked. Just the exact opposite of what you would expect if things were really looking up in the economy. This is, people are fucking scared. Pardon my language. That's what this reflects. They took a look at those numbers and said, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. And why? Because very quietly after releasing, the administration is like, oh man, we had massive job creation, which nobody believed. Everybody's like, what? What? That don't make any sense. That doesn't match any of the financial data out there. What do you mean you created, almost 200,000? What the hell, man? That don't make any sense. Very quietly, they did this. Kate Maryland, I've known drinkers of gin that sound the same. Yeah, he is not well. He is not well. He is not, and it is not just, it's not alcohol. Ollie, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. ET, the things that we have learned from the past when we have bad problems is the fact that if we do get involved, time to getting better is shorter. Amen, brother. Amen. The more we get involved, the faster things get better. Proud Texas liberal. Trump got another participation in the undisputed champion of beautiful, clean coal trophy. Oh my God. It's just more craziness. But you know what? What's not crazy is this. At the same time, they were releasing the job numbers and trying to tell everybody, look over here, look over here. We put this bullshit job number out. Pay attention over here. They also revised down the job numbers for all of last year. Yeah. We created 15,000 jobs per month last year, which is to say we created no jobs last year, all last year. For the entire year, they've revised it down to we created only 180,000 jobs for the entire year. That's 15,000 jobs per month. And it is freaking people out. It is freaking investors out. People are taking a second look at AI because the claims on return on investment from AI, that math don't math. NVIDIA would have to post revenues greater than Tesla and Apple combined to get the return on investments they're promising off of AI. People are really starting to question the shit that's going on. They really are, which caused shockwaves in the market. Let's see how the Dow is doing. I'm sure the Dow's been up and down all morning. It is right now up slightly. It is up slightly. But yeah, remember Pam Bondi and her bond and the Dow's above 50,000. Yeah, well, that didn't last. That didn't last. It immediately plunged down to almost 49,000, lost almost 1,000 points. This is just today how radical the swings are and what's going on in the market. They can't figure out what the hell to believe. They don't know the market. That's what market uncertainty looks like. When you see the market swinging back and forth, it's plunging again right now. That is, we don't know what the hell is going on. And it's taken a beating over the last 5 days. So yeah, there are things to worry about. There are things to worry about. There are. We're going to have some financial problems. We really are. But we're going to be okay. We are going to be okay. Yes, there will be hard times. Yes, there will be ugly things that happen. But faith in this administration is over. The Trump regime is done. You even have MAGA, calling for the removal or impeachment of Kristi Noem. Pam Bondi's, we saw her disgusting performance before the Judiciary Committee. That has blown up in their faces. Stephen Leeson, just now, a unified Black caucus. Yep. But yeah, this did not fly. I don't know if y'all caught Pam Bondi's appearance before the House Judiciary Committee, but it did not go well. It did not go well. This literally set the dumpster on fire. She was belligerent. She was, and you know, before we talk about this, I want to remind everybody, Pam Bondi has seen the unredacted Epstein files. She's seen all of the Epstein files. She knows everything that's in it. And she behaved the way she did is her behaving the way she did is it's unexcusable. And even the you know, the MAGA freaks, I'm talking about like the Tim Pools, the Nick Fuenteses, the, you know, they're all calling for her head. All of them. You've got people that are, you know, the rah-rah patriots, and, you know, you've got there's a right-wing podcaster who's a former SEAL that's like, they're protecting pedophiles. Took a look at her performance and it just went into full freak-out mode. It is hitting home what these people are, who these people are, and what they're doing. Veggie Owl will grow 15,000 jobs all year, 15,000 per month, which is to say nothing. To create 15, to put it in perspective, to keep up with population growth, you need about 220,000 jobs, or about 2.5 million jobs per year you have to create just to keep up with population growth. So yeah, you've got about 2.2 million people that entered the job market, and there ain't no jobs. There aren't any jobs for them. And that's what I'm hearing from, you know, like I said, when I was talking to my daughter last night, she was very upset about that. She has friends in her young social circle that they're having a hard time. They're not making it. And even MAGA are starting to call for heads. They are. And again, they're just going to do all the awful things. They are. I mean, I'm not going to bullshit you. They're going to do awful things because they're awful people. Here's Jamie Raskin just laying it out there. Mr. Knudsen, thank you. Pam Bondi needs to be investigated as soon as Democrats take power. I have never seen such incompetence, disrespect, and failure to understand she is supposed to work for the people, not Donald J. Trump. Yep. But yeah, this is Jamie Raskin yesterday, or day before yesterday, in the judiciary hearing.
You redacted the names of abusers, enablers, accomplices, and co-conspirators, apparently to spare them embarrassment and disgrace, which is the exact opposite of what the law ordered you to do. Even worse, you shockingly failed to redact many of the victims' names, which is what you were ordered to do by Congress. Some of the victims had come forward publicly, but many had not. Many had kept their torment private, even from family and friends, but you published their names, their identities, their images on thousands of pages for the world to see. You redacted the names of abusers, enablers.
Yeah, and there's actual proof that they actually did it purposefully. They're finding documents after documents where they will redact the name of the attorneys, but not the names of the victims. Pam Bondi's DOJ basically doxed the Epstein victims, even victims that did not want to come forward. Some of these victims' families don't even know that they were Epstein victims. And Pam Bondi's DOJ just published their names while hiding the names of the pedophiles, while hiding the names of the predators. while publicly saying things like, if we just prosecuted everybody in the Epstein files, the system would collapse. Well, let it collapse. Any system that's based on protecting pedophiles is no system worth having. Let it collapse. And then she shows up and she acts the way she acted. Republicans completely ignored the Epstein files in that hearing. They wanted to talk about the Dow. They wanted to talk about just anything and everything but. And every time she talked to a Democrat, she ignored their questions, completely valid questions like, why did you unredact the name of the victims, but you redacted the name of the perpetrators, of the predators? Why did you do that? Completely ignored the questions and just attacked them. She had a burn book, what they call a burn book. That's when these people are they know who's going to be questioning them, and they want to have canned attacks to go back at them. And just insanely, in this book, she had the search histories of Democrats on the committee, on the Judiciary Committee, and what they had looked for in the unredacted files. First of all, why are they keeping track of that? Secondly, why is that in your attack book? They are clearly and openly protecting pedophiles. They're clearly and openly protecting predators and outing the victims. And even MAGA, I'm telling you, this is something that is like nothing we've ever seen, as far as everybody running for cover, trying to, nobody wants to be associated with this. Nobody wants to be tagged as the person that's defending this shit. So they are all throwing Pam Bondi and Donald Trump under the bus over this. This is like like I said, the Epstein files is just going to be a continual drip, 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 drip of things that come out. And they're not going to be able to avoid it. And they don't have the skills or the demeanor to do it. They're so arrogant and angry that they're being held to any account. They're acting like this. This is just to give you a taste of her demeanor. I don't want to listen to all there's tons of video. If you follow Aceen or Aaron Rupar on Blue Sky or Threads, there's tons of video you can see of her responses. But this is the kind of thing, this is the way she conducted herself.
The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about.
That is her response to being asked about why the DOJ is not pursuing investigations, given the clear evidence they've been forced to release. And why are you doxing victims? This is her response. Fuck those people. The Dow's over 50,000. Fuck those people. How dare you talk about that? Her arrogance was off the damn chart.
We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. Jordan, Mr. Jordan.
Committee will be in order.
Mr. Jordan, am I going to get an extra 45 seconds added to my time?
The committee will be in order. The time belongs to the gentleman from Texas. Ms. Bondi, the Attorney General can respond.
But she wouldn't. She wouldn't. And I cannot stress to you, if you're not on social media, this did not go well. People are not happy about this. I mean, this is like nothing you've ever seen as far as dumpster fires, that are just blowing up all over the Trump regime. This is not going away. And their entire strategy of nobody ever gets fired is, if you're a Democrat, it's exactly what you want them to be doing. Hug Pam Bondi as close as possible. Spicy Jester, love all the black look, Texas Paul looking sharp, sir. Pam Bondi is a nasty, twisted human being. She couldn't even look at the Epstein victims, and she knows how much they suffered. Pure evil. Yes, she does. She absolutely knows all of it. She knows all of it. Thanks for gifting the memberships, Martin. I really appreciate you, man. Thank you. Agent Cajun John, I'm glad to hear they're going to reverse the tariffs on Canada. Yep. Yes, sir. Talked about that in the last show. They just, the times they are a changing. They are. Rich Lawton, not redacting the victims' names should be all over the mainstream media. It is. This is something that has legs. This is something that's not going to go away. McBash lean in, hold the line, and press the attack. Hold tight when the dam breaks. It'll be a biblical deluge. Clutch your neighbors close. Well said. Well said. But yeah, it's just, I can't stress to you how much this picture, the picture's worth 1,000 words. This is not going to go away. These are the Epstein victims that were at the hearing when they were asked to please, if they wouldn't mind, please stand. And then they asked them, if you've reached out to the Department of Justice and been ignored, raise your hand. They all raised their hand. And Pam Bondi would not turn around and look at them. She was asked if she would apologize to them. Nope. Wouldn't even look at them. I mean, these are the kind of powerful, we talk about it. Narratives are everything. Narratives are everything. And this kind of picture is the kind of thing that will last for years. For years. This is what they are like. This is who they are. She was mean. She would not answer questions. She diminished the seriousness of what had happened. And man, I can't stress to you the number of people in the MAGA circles that are calling for her head right now. I mean, and folks, this whole invulnerability thing that they sell to MAGA is the only thing that they have. They have no competence. The economy's gone to shit. All they have is, ooh, we're strong. You're a winner and we're strong. When they start firing people, that's over. And they know it. And they know it. So they're going to try to do the absolute stupidest political thing that they could possibly do. They're going to hug these people closer, which is just going to turn people out in the midterms. And it's not just Pam Bondi. I'm telling you, Ice Barbie is in deep too. She is, again, you have people on both sides of the aisle calling for her head. Mike Daly, the Dem, the image of her ignoring the victims will go down in infamy. The Marie Antoinette response of the Dow is over 50,000 in the face of indescribable suffering will never be forgotten. Yep. And again, I have to stress to you, she's seen it all. She knows the abuse. All of those pictures that they won't let you see because they're too horrific, she's seen them. And she still acted this way. Lasercorn. Pennsylvania's 15th district finally has a candidate to take on Glenn Thompson. His name is Ray Bilger, a former Air Force intel officer, combat veteran, and speaks 7 languages. You know what to do, Pennsylvania. Yep, there are good candidates running everywhere. New West Bill. I cannot imagine anyone wanting any kind of relationship with this awful woman. She's just horrific, man. Cassie Lake. Tip for the coffee jar from the Canadian Ranch. All right, brother. I love to see our Canadian people in the house. Shameful when women in positions of authority won't protect girls and women. Oh, wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. This is happening. This is happening all over the place. You have, Ice Barbie has run, just slandered and libeled in their press. I mean, just victim after victim after victim. Well, man, it's just a dam has broken. A dam has broken. Judges are releasing information on these things. You remember, you back in October. You remember back in October, there was when ICE was in Chicago, there was a group of observers that were following them around, and they were posting their locations. They were really pissing ICE off. And ICE shot one of them. They claimed that these observers tried to, quote, box them in with their cars. And then Miramar Martinez, one of the observers, rammed their car. And they were forced to defend themselves, and they shot Miramar Martinez 5 times. Ice Barbie came out, called Miramar Martinez a terrorist. Bovino came out and said what great agents these Border Patrol agents were, and what a great job they did, and how fantastic. Well, sorry, story just went away. All fabricated, complete lie. They were wearing body cams. And this is why Democrats are fighting so hard right now to get DHS to be forced to have body cams active. The body cam footage shows that 1, they were never boxed in. Never. You can see from the body, you can see around the vehicle, they were never boxed in. 2, Miramar Rodriguez didn't ram their car. She didn't ram their car. You see the driver actually turn into her car. It was the opposite. They hit her car. They had drawn their weapons before they rammed her car, and there's recordings in the body cam where they're saying, time to get aggressive. They had already made the decision to do what they were going to do, that they were going to shoot somebody, Then after the shooting, the agent bragged about it. This is Miramar Martinez. Bragged about it. He said, put that one in the books, boys. 5 shots, 7 holes. Bragging about the fact that two of the bullets that he had fired at Miramar Martinez went through her and pierced other body parts. So yeah, that turned out to be a complete and utter lie and fabrication. But because of who they are, that agent's not been arrested. That agent's not been charged. He's been put on administrative leave. They lied. The entire car full of agents lied. And they're not being prosecuted. again, horrible things are going to happen. But this is the kind of thing that does not go away. Miramar Martinez is going to sue the living dog shit out of the United States government, and she's going to win. And the entire time that this trial goes on, we are going to be reminded of Ice Barbie standing up there calling this woman a terrorist, when the exact opposite was true. So yeah, again, terrible things are going to happen. They're going to do awful things. But in the end, we're going to prevail. We are going to prevail. Sean Salisbury, thank you for supporting the show. I really appreciate it. I do. Miguel Larson tell us, Russia 2016 collusion are in the files and it will come out. Yeah, I'm telling you, there is so much coming out in these files that it's just a storm of things. And we're going to take one piece after another, after another, after another, and we are never going to let it forget. We're going to keep people motivated. We're going to keep people fired up. George Allen says, Bondi has to toe the line with Trump. She failed so miserably that Trump is throwing. That's my prediction. She goes under the bus. She goes under the bus. Vincent Day, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. If Trump can find somebody else to be his Roy Cohn, he'll probably promote Todd Blanche into the position, which isn't an improvement. It's not. Jeremy Breeden, them running around calling people terrorists is classic MAGA projection because they are the real terrorists. Amen, brother. Amen. Amen. William G. Atheist, another coup by Carney, a $5,000 rebate if you buy an EV from a country we have a free trade deal with. China will need to build BYDs here. Yep. And the entire world sees it. They see what's going on with our economy. They see what's going on with our freedoms. They see that Trump is nothing but just a stone around our necks. He's immoral. He's a criminal. And everyone sees it. Everyone sees it. Midas pilot. Body cams clear more local cops than bust them. Yeah, body cams are a good thing. They are a good thing. Woodmark 13, the SAVE Act will make it easier for foreign oligarchs to vote than citizens who have lived here their entire lives. There is so much going on with that right now. And I want to tell you, let's put a pin in. Let's talk about the SAVE Act for a second. Ladies, we've told you over and over and over again, they don't want you voting. They won't. And the way the SAVE Act is written right now, if you're a married woman, they're going to make you prove who you are in order to register to vote. They're going to make you, because if you got married and you took your husband's name and the name you currently use doesn't match your birth certificate, they're going to make you go through an entire process to prove who you are. And the reason they're doing it is they know they're going to suppress a certain amount of votes. It's a poll tax is what it is. It's against the 24th Amendment. The SAVE Act isn't, they've tried this twice before, and it's failed both times in the Senate. It will likely fail a third time in the Senate. Although Republicans are desperate at this point. But even if it passes, it's so blatantly clear in the Constitution. The 24th Amendment to the Constitution says you cannot do this. If they're going to force you to have documentation, they need to make the documentation readily available, and it has to be free. See, a lot of people, when you talk about this being a poll tax, they're like, they kind of dismiss it a little bit because this isn't like back in the slave days when, people just couldn't pay the tax. But that's kind of a misnomer, what they teach you in history class. They kind of keep it simple because there's simple minds like in high school that they're dealing with. That wasn't where the poll tax was most effective in voter suppression. It's that it was the process. People would go pay their poll tax, and then they would show up to vote with their certificate. And then they would say, "Oh, you can't vote. That's the wrong signature. No, you can't vote." That's the whole point of the SAVE Act, is to make so many hoops that people have to jump through that either they get tired or they don't pay attention. They start too late, can't get the documents. It's to suppress women's votes, period. That's what this is about. And they're trying to sell it as, oh, those illegal, it's that fiction that they've been, that they've never been able to prove. Oh, those illegals are voting. Those illegals are voting. Non-citizens are voting. Well, that's not true. Every case where they've gone through and and audited these votes, they never find it, because the system is set up to not allow them to vote. The SAVE Act is nothing more than a poll tax intended to keep women from voting. And I ladies, I don't know how much more clear they can be about this. I mean, they're telling you openly they don't want you to vote. Then they're passing legislation to keep you from voting. I think that they've wildly miscalculated here. I don't think that they understand that women are the people in the household more often than not that handle all the paperwork. I don't think this is going to do anything but piss off a lot of women. I think they misjudged badly how women are going to respond to this and how effective it's going to be. Because folks, I don't know how it works in your household, but in my household, my wife is the smart one. You would be better off trying to keep Democratic men from voting than you would trying to keep Democratic women from voting. This is just going to blow up in their faces badly. Marcia Klepper, several high schools here in the butt crack, including my granddaughter's, left class to peacefully protest ICE yesterday. What she means by butt crack. And I can't call it that anymore because Tarrant County went blue, man. Tarrant County went blue. You've got Fort Worth and Dallas and the area in between. I used to jokingly call the butt crack. But no, that all went blue, man. That all went blue. I'm telling you, these people are waking up. They are waking up. New West Bill, thanks for supporting the show. I really appreciate you. ET, it is less than 38 weeks until the general election. Make sure your voter registration deadlines. Make sure of your early voting dates. Get involved. Yep. Jim Maya, thanks for supporting the show, brother. Thank you. I really appreciate you being here. Grace Gilbert, 57% of Dems have passports versus 45% of the GOP. Another miscalculated dummy mander. Yep. I am telling you, when I saw what they were doing, I'm like, this is the stupidest damn thing they could possibly do. They have no idea who handles the paperwork in households. They have no idea. They have just pissed women off by intentionally trying to keep them from voting. But these are not the people that are going to fail at doing this. I keep saying it over and over and over again. They're going to cheat. They're going to cheat. This is just another way they're trying to cheat. They're going to cheat, but we're going to overcome it. And this is just one of those ways where it's like, wow, did you wildly miscalculate who's going to be handling the paperwork? Do you think the women in these households can't get a birth certificate. They handle all of their children's information, all of their vaccination records, all of that. All of this is part and parcel to who American women are. And you did not do anything to them that they cannot overcome. And you just made them very fucking angry at you. You know, I mean, this is just, you know, again, this is why I keep saying, yeah, they're going to do shit like this. And no, ladies, you shouldn't have to put up with this bullshit. You shouldn't. But it's the kind of thing that's going to drive people to the polls. And in the end, we will win. And they're proving who they are. It's not a matter of old Texas Paul sitting here saying, man, those Republicans, I'm telling you, I talked to those people. They don't want women to vote. They don't want it. They're proving it. And that, my friends, is the silver lining in all of this. There's nowhere to run and hide. William G. Atheist, the SAVE Act may help MAGA because don't most of them marry their sister? Oh, man, that is cold. Their sister or first cousin with the same last name. That is cold, brother. That is cold. Accurate, but cold. Oh, I don't know, ladies. Am I wrong about this? I mean, that was literally my reaction to this. Is you're fucking with the wrong people here. Now, you create a paperwork problem for me, you might get somewhere, you know? But you create a paperwork problem for my wife, she's going to eat you alive. She's a freaking savant when it comes to that paperwork. But yeah, back to what we were talking about. This just happened. And I mean, this just happened. There was a shooting in January. Julio Sosa Celis was shot by an ICE agent. The ICE agents involved again lied about the engagement. Then video evidence has come out. Folks, they didn't just drop the charges here against Julio Celis. They didn't just drop the charges. The prosecutor asked for the charges to be dropped with prejudice. And if you're not familiar with legal terms, that means they can't ever file those charges again for any reason. Typically, they'll ask for charges to be dropped without prejudice, which means that they can take another bite at the apple. There's just an administrative snafu or something that is the way they'll sell it. And well, we want to get our shit wired straight. And this is, we're going to pursue this. No, the prosecutor took a look at those charges and said, no, drop the charges with prejudice. That's how bad the evidence is that came out against them. What they claimed happened was that they were doing a targeted traffic stop and they were attacked by Julio Celis and a friend, saying that they attacked them with snow shovels and broken off shovel handles, that they were trying to beat them to death. They were literally, Ice Barbie came out and called them attempted murderers. Nope. None of that happened. They just lied and ended up shooting Julio Celis when he was running away. Veggie Owl Girl. Will this tick off the Republican ladies to where they will vote Democrat? Doubtful. Very doubtful. It's going to suppress a few, but don't look for MAGA. Again, I keep saying this over and over again. They have created an entire identity around being Republican and that they are superior to you. They will never trade that in for anything. That means everything to them. Marie Crabtree, this is for you and Mrs. Texas Paul to have a date night to just de-stress. I appreciate you. I really do appreciate you. And I'm telling you, folks, I've got a surgery coming up, and then I'm going to take some vacation time. I am. Sometime over the next few months, I am going to take a vacation. I am going to tell you. It's not easy putting your face in this 24/7. It's not. Midas Pilot, judge for Eric Adams wouldn't allow without prejudice. Yep. I'm telling you, talk to the lawyers. We have lawyers in our audience. Talk to them about what it means that they ask for those charges to be dismissed with prejudice. And I'm talking about the prosecutors asked for that, not the defense. The prosecutor said, no, we want these charges dismissed with prejudice. Ollie, 1970s Life Touch photo owner in the files, and high schoolers walking out from school pictures. I know, that was great. That was great. The parent company of Life Touch. Life Touch is a big contractor. You know, when you sit around and you do the class photo and the individual pictures at school. Yeah, Life Touch became the biggest company in the country that does this. The founder of their parent company is in the Epstein files, and kids are calling in. They're taking the day off on school photo days, and they're starving Life Touch. You got to love our next generation. You've got to love this generation. They don't just complain. They do. They do. They're literally taking the day off so that Life Touch can't shoot, they can't be marched in there to take their school picture. So Life Touch can't get a fee for their sitting. I mean, how proud does that make you? I don't know about you. I heard about that and I was just so proud of them. Not just talking, doing. Mary McCunis, best wishes for a successful surgery. Oh, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. DK Walk, it was the old white men society that caused women to change their names at marriage. We were fine with it for a long time. If I had changed my name 30 years ago, I would be very angry. Yeah. They did nothing but piss women off. Stupid move. Stupid. But they are stupid. They're awful people. They don't want women to vote. They don't want women to. And forgive me about the slow pace of the show today because I had so much information here and it's spread out in different places. My tabs are in different places. But yeah, this was the original news story about when they shot Mr. Sellis, and they claim, federal agents shoot man during Minneapolis ICE stop. ICE Barbie comes out and calls him an attempted murderer, just on and on and on. But this is the important takeaway from Mother Jones' story. A Venezuelan man shot by an ICE agent in January never attacked the agent, as the Department of Homeland Security claimed, according to an explosive new court filing from the Department of Justice. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem originally claimed that Julio Sosa Sellis was shot during a January 14th incident in Minneapolis, Minnesota, after he and another defendant, Alfredo Ayona, ambushed and attacked the unnamed agent with a snow shovel and broom handles. That was all a lie. All of it. But yeah. The motion didn't specify what new evidence had come to light. It's a video. It's a video of the incident. It's a security camera video of the incident. It asked that the felony assault charges filed against both men be dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can't be resubmitted. This is the kind of thing that suppresses their base. This is the kind of thing that turns out our base. This is the kind of thing that is, and I told you so over and over and over again. And it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. There are more people that are going to be hurt and killed because these people are fucking awful. They are awful, bigoted, lousy, nasty people. Cross-eyed guy, the number of lawyers leaving the DOJ is telling. Very telling. Very telling. You want to know what kind of people they are? Agent Cajun John says, did you hear about Tumble Ridge situation in British Columbia near a place where I lived a few years ago? So sad. No, I haven't heard about that, man. Email me. Tell me what's going on there. I haven't heard about that. Proud Texas liberals. Seniors vote by mail. Getting rid of it suppresses GOP vote. Why? They're idiots. They are idiots. They're trying to sell the narrative that they never lost. They're the super powerful. It's that whole bandwagon effect. It's that whole narrative that they're telling their base. They're really the strong ones. We just cheated. We're stealing their democracy from them. They're desperate to maintain that. New West Bill, you are, well, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, brother. I really do. Bluebird, thank you for supporting the show. Glad to see our European audience here. But no, this is the kind of person, this is who they are. This is Chris Murphy. Senator Chris Murphy questioning Jeremy Carl. Jeremy Carl is nominated to be the Assistant Secretary of State. This is not a minor gig. The Assistant Secretary of State. This guy is a out and out white nationalist. He deleted thousands of straight up bigoted, racist social media posts where he just says the grossest things about African American people, about, and he is a just an out and out white. Why are they always so fucking pathetic? Look at this guy. Why is it people that look like this and sound like this that somehow think that they're superior? I don't get it. Wait till you hear this guy talk. Bondi was like a bad version of Mad Magazine. She is an indignant idiot. Yeah. It's a little slow starting. But Chris Murphy drills down on it. Wait for it.
Tell me how you define white identity and what you think is being erased about white identity.
Certain types of Anglo derived culture that comes from our history.
Like what?
Let me think about this. Senator, I would say if you were to look at the book by one of your former Senate colleagues, Born Fighting, about the sort of Scotch-Irish military culture and certain, pride that went with that, that would be one example. Obviously, you could have sub-elements of that culture. You could have Italians, you could have Irish, and those are in many ways more.
Yeah, but you're worried about white culture. You're not worried about you're now.
Just as a sub note here, this really bothers me because I'm half Irish. Italians and Irish, for the longest, were not considered white. They were not. And Chris Murphy just drills in on this. Hold on.
Retreating to ethnic identity. You don't speak about ethnic identity. You speak about white identity. So tell me the values that stitch together white identity and that make it different than black identity.
I would say that the white church is very different than the black church in terms of its tone and style on average. Foodways could often be different.
And those
music
could be different. And those are being erased.
Music could be different. Well, if you look at the Super Bowl halftime show, which was not in English this year.
So our ability to access white churches or white food or white music is being erased?
I am concerned with the majority common American culture that we had for some time that through particularly mass immigration, I think has become much more balkanized. And I think that weakens us. And again, I'm not running away from that comment. I'm not apologizing for it.
Well, I'm way over my time. I think you're struggling to answer this question, right? Because underlying your beliefs is a sentiment that white culture is just simply better. Tell me how you define white identity.
Yeah. During that entire hearing, he just doubled and tripled down. These are the people that they are absolutely putting up there. I mean, this guy's a moron. And again, that's always a silver lining in this. They're fucking awful people, but they're morons. Skeets here, the only threat to MAGA are themselves. Yep. And again, this guy is going down in flames. This guy, there are enough Republicans that are freaking scared right now that this guy is not going to be confirmed. He is not. All of the Democrats are going to vote against his confirmation. There are enough Republicans that are like, oh, hell no. no, we're only 8 months to the election, and no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. Skeets there. Once again, my father worked on the F-22 and International Space Station. He didn't finish high school and is colored. You know, our entire, just to that comment, our entire history, there is so much. If it was Black achievement, they just buried it. They just didn't acknowledge it. That's why, they'll call me a race traitor. No, man, I'm an American. There's so much to celebrate out there from our fellow Americans that you people, because of your fear and your weakness, y'all buried. No. I'm going to celebrate those achievements because it's testimony to our greatness as a nation. You're just weak and scared and pitiful. Jeff Schuler, Dunning-Kruger candidate for State Department, can't alliterate his own personal beliefs. They led him into it the entire, he just could not help himself. He could not stay away from the white supremacy. It is who he is. And why is it always somebody that freaking pathetic that thinks that they're superior? McMaster says, the Irish were black until the oligarchs figured out they could exploit Africa. Oh, yeah. Oh my God. There's just so much wrong with what this guy said. Rock and Ron, Black Church has better music. There's one in my neighborhood, and it is a glorious sound on Sundays. I'm telling you. We are so much a better people when we just all go to the cookout, man. We are so much a better people. We are. Silly Bebo, being white isn't an accomplishment. Our skin color and culture isn't that special. Jesus, I'm very proud of my Irish heritage. I'm very proud of my Norwegian heritage. I'm very proud of my German heritage, but that doesn't mean that, that's not white. That's Irish, Norwegian, and German. How weak do you have to be to sit there and try to diminish the achievements of our fellow Americans? How weak do you have to be? Babylon 01, on behalf of the Bad Bunny halftime show. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. I don't know anybody that watched that show that wasn't already a bigot, that didn't love that show. Only the bigots were bothered by it. Everybody loved that show. It was so upbeat. The juxtaposition. I loved the wedding in it. I did. I loved the wedding in it. Anyways, I don't want to get sidetracked on that. Kate Marion Light, you can pick almost any group, Irish, Italians, blacks, or religious groups such as Catholics were at one time deemed not good enough to be here. And ICE is still kidnapping Native Americans. I know that. Tell me it's not about bigotry when you have ICE harassing Native Americans. Who is more American than the first people? Jesus Christ, it's so insane. But that insanity, it's not being accepted anymore. It's not, nobody's like, oh, I guess that crazy shit is the way it is now. No, nobody's accepting it. Nobody. Skeets here, the Epstein revelations are a real example of how all of this is connected. Yep. And I'm gonna show you something right now that is just gonna blow your mind. It is. It's just how these Epstein revelations just keep, just it's a constant, just drip, 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 drip. For instance, these Ohio lawmakers, quiet on donations from Epstein associate Wexner. Jeffrey Epstein was Les Wexner's financial advisor. Les Wexner, if you don't remember, is an Ohio billionaire, but he made his money off of brands like Abercrombie and Fitch. He made his money off of Victoria's Secret, off The Limited. And I know a lot of women that shopped at The Limited. Bath and Body Works. Those are all Les Wexner's brands. And he was as tight as you get to Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was one of his money managers. And it just keeps just getting worse and worse. This is, you've got Senator Bernie Moreno from Ohio, Senator John Husted from Ohio, and Representative Mike Carey are just three of the people that it's come out took money from Wexner and coming out in the Epstein files. And then you've got John Husted here, who voted against disclosing what was in the Epstein files. Senator John Husted of Ohio, not only has he taken money from, these awful, god-awful, horrible people, but then he's voting to keep it secret. He's voting to keep it secret. Now, these are your Republican senators, man. This is the kind of thing that they were terrified of. It is not going away. It is going to be a drip, 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 constant drip. Good morning, Danny F. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for supporting the show. But it doesn't stop there. You know who this guy is? Anybody recognize this guy? Yeah. Came out in the Epstein files, Dr. Oz, in 2016. Way after everybody knew what Jeffrey Epstein was. Old Oz here invites him to the family Valentine's Day dinner. Yep. Just came out that old Oz here invited Jeffrey Epstein to his family's Valentine's Day dinner. Surprise, honey! Jeffrey Epstein's here. It's just one thing. This entire administration is soaked in the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. It is just one thing after another, after another, after another. This is Dr. Mark Landon. And this is why I tell you, it just gets really freaking gross and convoluted with, we're finding out scandals that happened before are actually tied to this. And it's just wait for it. Cool. Trump hired everyone in the Epstein files. It appears so. It's their inner circle that makes up the Trump regime. ET just shows how dumb they are. If they had put out the files like they should have at the very beginning, they could have had months of distraction. Yeah, they're idiots. They're morons. Let me introduce you to Dr. Mark Landon. This is Dr. Mark Landon. He came out he's one of the doctors that came out in the Epstein file. Dr. Mark Landon, he's the head of gynecology at Ohio State University. And for some reason, he claims it was for consultant work, but for some reason, they were sending him 25 grand every quarter. Every 3 months, they were cutting him a check for 25 grand. Jeffrey Epstein was Les Wexner's money manager. Jeffrey Epstein was cutting him 25 grand from Lex Wexner every quarter. I wonder why they needed a gynecologist. And he claims it was, oh no, I did nothing illegal. I saw again, Sergeant Schultz, I saw nothing. I saw nothing. They just mailed me money. I don't know. Jeff Schuler makes you wonder if J.D. Vance got a taste of that money. Deep Ohio and Peter Thiel ties. Thiel is deep in Epstein financial ties. Yep. Because how long is it going to be before we tie these together? Because remember, Epstein is Wexner's money manager. And oh, by the way, Ohio State University's medical center is the Wexner Medical Center. How quick do you think they're going to rename that? Skeet says, I saw a video that said the Island Boys are his kids, and they had a dentist that was a victim. Man, there is so many different directions that are coming out. So many different directions. But yeah, this is the Oklahoma State University Medical Center. It's called the Wexner Medical Center. And this is, just to show you how closely tied these things are together. This is, Les Wexner was ordered to testify in the Ohio State abuse survivors lawsuit. And if you don't remember what that's all about, that was all about this guy. 1 second, let me pull it up for you. This is Dr. Richard Strauss, also a doctor at Ohio State University. Lex Wexner had to testify in his abuse scandal because, if you remember, Dr. Strauss was part of the sports medicine program in the wrestling program at Ohio State University and was accused by over 170 people of abuse. Apparently, if you were a young male athlete, and had any medical issue whatsoever, Dr. Strauss felt it necessary to hold your genitals to diagnose your problems. And they knew it. They knew it. They knew it. They knew it. Jim Jordan tries to claim, again, Sergeant Schultz, I knew nothing. I know nothing. But several of the athletes said, look, man, Strauss's locker and Jim Jordan's locker are right next to each other. Jim Jordan took a complaint from, this wasn't even a student. This is a referee in one of the wrestling matches, a guy by the name of Feeney. Said he told Jim Jordan, he complained to him. He said, dude, I'm in the shower and Dr. Strauss is in there looking at me, jerking off. Do you think you could do something about that? To which he says, Jim Jordan said, oh man, that's just Feeney. You know what he's all about. But Wexner, Jim Jordan, Ohio State University, all claim they didn't know shit about any of this. But you talk to the victims and they said, we complained to everybody that would listen and nobody did shit. They allowed this to go on for years. Years. This guy's getting his jollies, grabbing wrestlers' junk. Got a cold? Well, let me see your testicles. Pulled a muscle? Well, let's see how your penis is doing. This went on for years. And Jim Jordan's, I don't know nothing about it. And Lex Wexner Jeffrey Epstein's bestest bud and patron is sitting on the board. We didn't see anything. Jesus Christ, man. God, I feel like I need a shower. Oh, these people are disgusting. These people are disgusting. You know, my dad won't know what to do without you when you're on vacation. LOL. I hope your surgery goes well. Look, I'll just tell you, I got no cartilage left in my knee. I don't. So they're going to have to replace a knee. It's going to suck. But I got to lose some weight before they can do the surgery. So I don't know when exactly it's going to be. Timothy Moon. Thank you, brother. Thank you. So don't stress about it. It's not that big a deal. They do knee replacements all the time. Skeet Sayre, I was a great athlete in high school, and I ran against Robert Smith. He left OSU after 1 year and complained about the university. Yeah, this is not new, man. This scandal, I promise you, these scandals are gonna bleed together. They are. Agent Cajun John, thanks for always being here, brother. Thanks for all the support, man. It's huge support every show, man. But yeah, there was a documentary in which they came out and they talked about their allegations. This has all been documented in court records. You know, they say at one point in the documentary, Richie said Jordan claimed if Strauss ever did that to me, talking about Jim Jordan, claiming he didn't know anything, but he's telling people this. If Strauss ever did that to me, I'd snap his neck like a stick of dry balsa wood. If you ever did what, Jim? If you ever did what? You claim you knew nothing, but you're threatening the man's life if he ever did what to you? In the documentary, wrestling referee Fred Feeney, I was telling you, this is the story about Feeney in the shower, shared his experience with Strauss sexually assaulting him in the shower after a wrestling match. He said he told Ohio State wrestling coach Russ Hellickson and Jordan that Strauss was masturbating beside Feeney in the shower, which I just cannot wrap my head around. Jim Jordan looked at me straight in my face and said, "It's Strauss. You know what he does." But when asked about it under oath, pulled a Sergeant Schultz. I don't know shit. That's who these people are. And you wonder how Pam Bondi can sit there and be such a bitch, having seen everything that she's seen in the Epstein file. Folks, this isn't going to play. This isn't going to blow over. And it just keeps getting worse for them. Dragon's Aurora Midas, a new knee, best thing after 4 months is amazing. I love mine 6 years ago now. I appreciate you people. I really do. Mr. Dutch, and drink coffee and eat eggs and meat for a few weeks, Paul. Weight will fall off. No sweets, carbs, or pumpkin spice for a while. Good luck. Yeah, I know, man. Those carb diets work for me. You know, Mrs. Texas Paul hates those diets. She cannot lose weight on a carb diet. I don't understand why. I get on a carb diet, man, it just melts off of me. But yeah, I mean, one second. Just lost a tab. Got to bring it back up. One second. I appreciate your patience. I accidentally closed the tab when I went to open it. I actually clicked on the close tab instead of. Doggone it. I'm having a hard time finding it. It was a good tab, too. Let me see. Thank you. Man, I hope your coffee's as good as mine. I really do. Got it. There it is. There he is. This is Clay Parikh. Parikh. Clay Parikh. This guy has been blown out of the water. He actually had a meltdown and a hissy fit. He was Carrie Lake's election expert when she tried to sue about her election in Arizona. This guy runs around the country telling anybody and everybody that all elections that Republicans lose are stolen. And he is, everything has in trial after trial after trial after trial. Nothing that he says holds up. There's no evidence to support it. He's been roundly debunked over and over and over and over again. Yet, the Fulton County ballots that they just went to seize, the affidavit they filed to get their search warrant was based on Clay Parikh. Allegations made by Clay Parikh. You can't make this shit up if you try. You can't make this shit up if you try. The affidavit that they filed to get the warrant to go seize those ballots is based off of debunked shit that Clay Parikh has been saying for years and getting his dick kicked in court over and over and over again. It's the same old tired shit. Folks, I keep telling you, they're going to do awful shit. And there are enough immoral, gross MAGA freaks out there that they're going to get their terrible shit is going to happen. But they lose every time. They lose. They're going to lose this Fulton County case because they're all bullshit morons. They live in nothing but fantasy land. And every time they have to sit under oath, it all goes away. Veggie Owl Girl, give up sugar. I'm giving up sugar for Lent. And we'll see how it goes. And I'm not Christian, but it seems like a good idea. Got my blood work done. I drink black coffee, folks. I drink black coffee, and I drink almost no soda and mostly water. I'm working on it. But yeah, you know, it's one thing after another with these people. And they're going to cheat. They are. I want to introduce, this is J. Gordon Mitchell. This is J. Gordon Mitchell. He's running for U.S. Congress District 17 down here in Texas as a Democrat. You know, there's only one problem with that. His name is only recently J. Gordon Mitchell. For the longest, he was James McKay. And he served on the Leander, Texas School Board. And he was responsible for some of the most homophobic, awful shit that was pushed through the Leander School Board. I mean, talking about removing textbooks and all that craziness, all that insanity until he got run out of town. So when I tell you they're going to cheat, they're going to cheat. So James McKay changes his name to J. Gordon Mitchell and gets his name on the ballot as a Democrat. Yeah, they're going to cheat. He's about to get his ass kicked in the primary because this all came out. But this is who they are, folks. This is who they are. They're going to cheat, but we're going to kick their ass anyways. They cheat every election. See, this is Mr. Newsom, this is a misconception that a lot of people have. The Democratic Party doesn't choose its candidates. All you have to do is file the appropriate paperwork, and that's it. So he changed his name, went around, basically boondoggled people, got signatures, say, I want to run as a Democrat, and he got enough people to sign, his sign off on his paperwork, filed it, and he's a candidate. He's a candidate in the Democratic primaries. These people that tell you, oh, the Democratic Party just chose our candidate and the Democratic Party that's not a thing, people. That's not how any of this works. That's how these Republicans get in as as Democrats. They hide who they are and run as Democrats. They're just cheating. They're using a system that's open, and they're just lying to people. But that's who they are. That's their morals. They just have none. And if you don't believe me, this is David Nephi Johnson. Nephi, Nephi. David Nephi Johnson. He is the Wasatch County GOP chair. And he just got arrested. For felony child abuse. Apparently, this is a systemic thing in his house. His teenage daughter, he didn't feel cleaned her room well enough before she went out with her friends. So, when she got home, he drug her into the bathroom and waterboarded her. And according to her testimony, he's done that to his son also. That's who these people are, man. That's who these people are. Every day a story comes out about some guy that was wearing a MAGA hat talking about family values is either, they're abusing kids in one way or another. This is who they are. Yeah, no kidding, Mr. Newsom, part of family values. When T dies, Stephen Miller will run the country. Actually, no, man. When Trump goes, the Republicans have already put Miller on notice. You're out the freaking door. You're out of here. Even Republicans are sick of this shit. They really are. They really are. They won't say it publicly because they're afraid to cross Trump, because you've got your MAGA uncle and Cletus and everybody that are just insane. Bridget Beach says, what is waterboarding? It's torture. It's torture. It's simulated drowning. He grabbed her by the back of her head, shoved her face in the sink until she thought she was going to drown. And then he ripped her head out. And as she tried to breathe, he took water and shoved it in her face so that she could not breathe. As she tried to gasp in air, she would suck water into her lungs. It's torture. That's who these people are. That's who these people are. E.T., the immoral minority. Yep. So, yeah, let me wrap this up with this, folks. I'd like to tell you that it's going to be all okay and cake and ice cream and They've learned their lesson and MAGA's turning on them, and so they're going to stop doing. No, that's not the case. That's not the case. There are still 2,000 ICE agents in Minneapolis. They are still deeply sick individuals. There's still more people are going to be injured. More people are going to be murdered at the hands of ICE before we get control of these things. They just are. It's just a fact. They're going to continue over the next several, even after we take control of Congress. Congress is going to do its job. The Democrats in Congress, once we turn power back over to the Democrats in Congress, are going to do their jobs with the Epstein files. But the administration is not. The Department of Justice is not. They're going to continue to protect predators. And they're going to do things like dox the victims to try to discourage the victims from speaking out so that their followers can threaten the victims. They're going to keep doing stuff like that. They are. You're going to see Trump, like we saw Trump with the Gordie Howe Bridge. He's going to continue to grift. They're going to continue to wreck the economy. But the more bad things that happens, the more panicked Republicans will be, and the more diminished their power will be. It's like I told my daughter, you want to make things better? It's really simple. Get somebody in your inner circle to vote and vote Democrat. Somebody that's not voting. You do. You know somebody that's not voting. Get them to the polls. This kind of thing is great motivation. This kind of thing will get people, to see past the stupidity and, I don't have to pay attention to politics and all of that shit. Do it. You have to. Nobody else is going to. Nobody's coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. We do. But in the end, we will. And we'll clean this mess up. And we'll restore our relationships around the world. We will restore, because we've never given up who we are. We've never given up who we are. Sergeant Flux, who would JD appoint as Veep if and when Trump goes? I do not know. I do not know. Skeet Sayre, his own daughter let that sink in. Yeah, he did that to his own daughter. He waterboarded his own daughter for not cleaning her room. It's who these people are. Weird Idaho liberal. Blue Hulk smash red wheat criminals. Amen, brother. Amen. E.T., we have a long road ahead. The sooner we get involved and work on all this, the sooner things will be better. But also will not happen overnight too. And you can't get discouraged. You can't. That's what they want. That's what they want. Mr. Newsom, will there be a shutdown tonight? It would only be DHS, so no, there isn't going to be a government shutdown, but they seem to be at complete loggerheads. The Republicans are digging in. The Democrats are, I just want to remind you, the Democrats are asking for uniforms. They're asking for the mask to come off. They're asking for body cam. Everything they're asking for is everything that should be happening already. And the Republicans are saying, no, we're not going to do that. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, nobody's talking to anybody. And the Republicans are talking about taking some days off just to, I guess, clear their head. I don't know. Actually what it is they're trying to see what the response to this is. Will it excite their base? Will a DHS shutdown excite their base? Will it end up going in their favor before they agree to anything? And I want you to remember the kind of things just that they're fighting against. Identify yourself. Wear a uniform with your name tag, badge number. You know, the shit that your local PD does every damn day. Those are the things that Republicans are fighting against. Skeet's here. We are the resistance. Keep fighting. This is why no matter what happens, we have to turn out. It is the only way we bring normalcy and decency back. Folks, that's what I have for you today. I hope it is useful. Forgive the slow pace of the show. I just, like I said, there's so much to cover. I didn't have everything organized. That's on me, and I do apologize for that, folks. But I hope you find what we did today useful. And I hope you've come out of the show with a little bit more of a feeling that, yeah, we're going to do this. They're going to do awful shit, but we're going to use it to motivate each other, and we're going to be okay. We're going to rebuild. Everything on the other side is going to be okay. And on that note, enjoy some Texas cities at night.